Hey, Hope, this is Jared with the Daily News. Since your freshman year, this is going to be your first time heading to the Conference USA tournament. For a lot of your team, it's going to be their first time playing down there. I guess, what are your expectations, heading in?
I really have high expectations because, like we've said all year, we're just getting better every day, and we're a lot better than our record shows. And I just feel like we're a very dangerous team, and we can come together. I feel like we could come together like very well and make a big run down there. So
Like you just said, you feel like you're a very dangerous team. I look at, the Rice games, they're the top seed in the tournament, and you played them tight. How much confidence does that give you heading into a tournament like this where you can play with anyone?
it really gives us a lot of confidence just because, like you said, Rice is the number one seed in our tournament. They're supposedly the best team, and that just proves to us that we're better than what we were when we would play down at Rice. So, just shows what we're capable of.
Hey, Hope, Drew Tennis from the College Heights Herald. So, just playing Old Dominion in Norfolk, how do you think that playing them in Texas is going to be any different? Do you think that the fact that you're at a neutral court will cause a different result this time around?
It could, but also we're going to have two or three practices since that game, and we'll be a completely different team just because three practices are a big deal for us, just because, like Coach says, every single practice we are consistently getting better. But yes, being on a neutral court could make an impact. You never really know but you just gotta play for. But you just gotta it doesn't matter where we're at. You just have to play our best because you never know what the reps could be or anything. So.
Hey, Hope, this is Jared again. My first question I asked you about heading into your first conference tournament, but, I had to look at you and Allie. You played in a lot of high school state tournaments here in Kentucky, and that's a really big deal. Allie, I think, was the last team to win a state tournament game. How much do you feel like that might translate and help you out in a situation like this where you're heading into your first college tournament like this?
I think it helps a lot because my sophomore year, I made it to the state championship game, and I was young. I was 14 years old, 15 years old. So, it's the same with here. I'm very young, but it just shows you, it doesn't matter your age. It just depends on, I guess, how well you could play, and you can make a run no matter what as long as your team's all in together.
Hey, Hope, Drew Tennis again with the College Heights Herald. So, Coach said in the last series, one thing that you guys need to work on was taking good shots. So what are you guys doing just with, taking the ball down the court? Who are you kind of expecting to take that good shot?
Well, really, I trust anyone. Anyone that we have could take the good shot. It's just a matter of us making the smart decisions. So if there's 25 seconds on the shot clock and someone has an open three, yes, they could shoot it, but also if we work the ball around to 5 seconds on the shot clock, maybe Raneem gets a wide open layup, or maybe Miru has a wide open drive. So there's always a good shot, but the longer we work, the less the defense is effective. So the longer we work, the more open we could get, I guess, to get the great shot.
Hey, Hope, Jared again. I asked you this midway through the season. Looking back at the start of the season up until this point now with the regular season over, how have you seen your game change and grow and your personal improvement? How have you seen that kind of come along?
The number one thing that is making me helping me realize how much growth I've had is my assist to turnover ratio. The beginning of the season, I was 6 turnovers, 2 assists. And now it's almost it's completely just flipped around. And that really has a lot to do with my teammates, just because, we're not finishing as well as we could, but we are finishing a little better, which also they've helped me a lot. Just they always say, Hope, calm down, just slow down and calm down. Think before you make a pass. And so it's really just, that's my number. That's what I can see. That's very obvious, I guess.
Anything else for Hope? All right. Meryl's coming up.
Hope.
Thank you.
Thanks. Hey, Meral, this is Jared with the Daily News. Heading into this conference tournament, I believe you and Raneem are the only 2 players that have played in one before on your team. Obviously you didn't get last year, but, I guess what can you do with that experience with a young team that you play with heading into a tournament like this?
I think we just have to play hard and fight for the first game. Like if we win, we keep playing. If we lose, the season would be over, and we don't want the season be over right now. So I think I need to talk to my team today before practice or in practice, just to play hard and fight for this game to the last second, because like if we lose, it's gonna be the season over. And if we win, we will keep playing, and we need that.
Hey, Meryl, Drew Tennis from the College Heights Herald. So this past series, you guys lost both games by only 2 points. What are some things that you guys are going to work on to kind of make sure that doesn't happen in this next game?
We just have to box out and play hard and just play like the all fourth quarter, like good, not just 2 quarters and that's it. I think we play good, like plus 2 games, but like we start the third quarter, like for both games, we start bad. So I think we need to play hard from the beginning of the game and to the end so we can win.
You know, Meryl, what do you think it's going to take to have a good start, like you just said, against an Old Dominion team that you've seen the last 2 games?
They are really good, and we just need to block them out and stop to make them to go to the paint and get easy buckets and to run in transition. And if we did that, I think we will win this game. And we just need to fight and play hard. That's it. That's what we have to do to keep playing and win against Old Dominion and go to the next game.
You know, it's hard to believe it's been a year since we were down there and things got shut down. You know, looking at from that point up until now, you know, obviously a lot of things have changed, but, you know, not having the tournament last year, how much does that motivate you to come in and, you know, not take anything for granted?
I don't want the season to be in right now. Like, we just play hard from the beginning of the season, and we getting better every day, every practice, every game. So I just need to keep playing. I don't want the season to be in right now. We deserve more than that. So I will keep playing hard, and I will tell them to play hard and keep fighting so we can keep playing and not making the season end right now.
Anything else for Meryl? All right, thank you, Meryl.
Thanks, Meryl. Hey, Coach, Jared with the Daily News. You know, they say it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a season. You know, if that's true, it obviously is a good thing for you guys. But, you know, what's it going to take going up against an Old Dominion team that you've seen the last 2 games?
Well, I mean, the scouting report hasn't changed a whole lot, but we're going to have to do a better job on the defensive boards. I mean, they crashed the offensive boards hard and got a lot of second chance opportunities. And even when Asia Wayne went out in the second game, Young started flying in there and just killing us. And so we've got to box out. And then we got to make some shots. You know, it's hard to win in the 50s. At the end of the day, like, we've got to get some of those layups to stick them in the basket and get some points out of them.
Coach Drew Tennis from the College Heights Herald. So who are some players that you think would be the best for taking those shots?
I mean, obviously, Drew, I think Raneem's a good one. She's right there by the basket, but she's had a couple of rough games the last 2 games against ODU. And so I think really everybody's missed layups. I mean, it's been across the board. And so, I keep telling them we've got to slow ourselves down a little bit and not be in such a rush, putting those shots up, make sure we're focused on the finish and not just getting the shot up. So now we'll work on that again today in practice, and we'll get there. We just need a few of those to fall in. That would help a whole lot. I think, we played well enough to win several ball games throughout the year in a lot of different areas. And then there's one particular area, and sometimes that changes game by game. That's kind of shot ourselves in the foot a little bit. But I like how the kids continue to fight, continue to play hard. They want to win. They want to do well. They continue to practice and get up extra shots. We just need that to translate into the game.
Hey, Coach.
This is Hunter Smith. Hey, Coach, this is Hunter Smith with WBB.
Hey, Hunter.
Hey, how much are you going to, in terms of preparing for this tournament, how much are you going to lean on Raneem and Meral since they're, the only ones essentially that have been in the tournament before?
Yeah, I think that's a great point, that as far as from an experience factor, those are the two that obviously have some experience. So at least early in the game, those will be the ones that we'll have to lean on and kind of trust. And then I think the other ones, is once they settle down and get in the flow of the game, it's just another basketball game, and they'll be able to play and they'll be just fine. That's it. But at least in the early parts of the game, we'll have to lean on our experience a little bit with Raneem and Meral.
Hey, Coach, kind of going off of that, Allie and Hope are probably the two freshmen that play the most for you, obviously Hope in the starting role. They've had experience in tournaments before at high levels in the high school level, with Hope at Mercy, making the state final as a sophomore. Allie was one of the last players to win a state tournament game before everything shut down. Do you think that translates at all, heading into a college conference tournament?
Well, I think the one thing that carries over is if you're a winner, you're a winner. And if you're used to playing games and winning games, then you expect to win games. And so I think that's why those two compete as hard as they do. At Hope and Allie both are used to winning games. And they're like me, you're not used to losing. And so they're going to keep fighting. And you see that every game. And so, once they get in that atmosphere and they get in the flow of the game, they'll realize it's just another game. And they'll be just fine. But at least in the early part of that game, it'll probably be a little different atmosphere. Lights will be a little bit brighter. A little bit more going on around you, enough to kind of get settled in, but it won't take them long.
Coach Drew Tennis from the College Heights Herald. So with it being senior day, I wanted to ask you, what do you, with Raneem and Fatu, how has just them being here over the past couple of seasons, how have they grown as players?
Well, I think you can see that on the court. And Fatu has played better this year, obviously, than she did last year. And she's continued to grow throughout this season. Her field goal percentage made a significant jump early in the season, and really her turnovers to take care of the ball has improved a lot as well. And Raneem's continued to grow, and we were teasing Raneem after senior day. In the highlight, they showed her hitting a three. Well, she wouldn't even shot a three as a freshman, and so that's something that she's continued to work on and grow her game in that way. And so there's a lot of other areas that they continue to improve, but on the court they really improved. And the fact that they can do, they'll sit down and do interviews with you. Lillian will tell you that's a big change as well. And so they continue to grow on and off the court with their teammates, with the fans, and couldn't be more proud of both of them.
Hey, Coach, Jared again. Kind of going off of that, with the NCAA's blanket waiver for an additional year of eligibility, has that been discussed at all with those two, or have any decisions been made about whether they will or will not come back?
We've discussed it. No final decisions have been made. I know that they both have a lot of interest, but right now we're focused on ODU and playing this first round game and trying to get survive and advance and get to the next round in this tournament. And so once we kind of get through that, then we'll sit down and talk about what the future looks like.
We had Hope on here. She talked about her development and her assist to turnover ratio probably being the biggest thing she's seen in it. Since that first game at Tennessee up until this point now at the end of the regular season, how much have you seen her game change, and how much do you see her, making more of an impact now at the end of the year?
Well, she's getting more confident in a leadership role on the court, and she's seeing more things. And so there's still things that she doesn't see that we talk about. And there's situations where she gets sped up a little bit in the game. And so sometimes we got to calm down. But she's learning more quickly. She's adjusting faster in the game. And so she recognizes what's going on. And so you can see that really week by week, and she's continued to be the one player on the floor that kind of gives us a spark and gives us a reason to get down that floor a little bit fast. And so the one thing we need her to do is still look to score, and she's really focused on taking care of that ball and moving the ball, which is something we need, but we still need her points. So we need her to be a little bit more aggressive offensively.
Looking back to last year at this time when everything got shut down up until now, I talked to Todd a little bit about it yesterday. The differences between your team and the men's team, where the men return so much experience and you lose so much, especially at the beginning of the year. What's this whole process been like for you, up from the point when we were talking in the hotel last year, now to talking about going to the conference tournament again?
Well, the timing for us as a program couldn't have been worse, to graduate as much as we graduated. And you can see that across the country, teams that returned experience, you know, they were in a lot better spot than teams that didn't return any experience. And we had a lot that we graduated, like some other teams around the country, and men's and women's basketball and other sports. I said, but the one thing I've liked is this group that we have. They've continued to work hard from day one, staying focused on doing whatever we can do. Not worried about what we can't do, but focusing on what we can do. And they've continued to show those signs of improvement throughout the season. It's a whole different team that's heading to Frisco for this conference tournament than started the season in Knoxville against Tennessee. And so, and that's the part that I'm proud of is, you know, you can't control the circumstances, but you can control your reaction to those circumstances. And so, and that's the part I'm really pleased with. Every young lady and everybody in this program, they continue to just stay focused on what we can do and doing the best that we can. And so I like where we are. I wish we could have won some of these games down the stretch that we played really tough. I felt like we played well enough to win some of them, but I think we're in a good spot, and we're going to go to Frisco and compete.
All right, thanks, guys.